The cost of IT in business can be staggering. From hardware and software expenses to services like internet and phone, you don't need to spend a fortune on IT to succeed. If your organization spends more than $500 monthly on any service, or you're considering signing a long-term contract, IT Enabled can help you manage your technology and minimize your costs. Contact us today to schedule a free consultation. IT Enabled, we're here to help.
Hi, I'm Tara Watson-Watkins, President and CEO of the Lufkin-Angelina County Chamber of Commerce. Welcome to the Connect podcast, connecting business to the community. I'm here today with my co-host, Blake Polino of BP Media Group.
Welcome back to the show. So this week we are interviewing Terry Morgan and Ben Bartlett of Morgan, Bartlett, Baggett, and Shands Insurance, and talk about how they merged these two long-standing Lufkin insurance agencies and how that's gone for them, how they've gone through that process. Tell us a little bit about how the insurance process works and more in this episode now.
We're excited to have two of my favorite guys on the podcast with us. We've got Ben Bartlett and Terry Morgan. Welcome to the Connect podcast.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Good to be here.
Why don't you tell the listeners a little bit about your background history, and then we'll talk about the partnership with the firm.
Ben? Okay. Go ahead. Well, I was born in Nacogdoches, grew up in Lufkin, graduated from Lufkin High School, went off to college. After I got out of college, didn't know what I was actually going to do, but my dad, he started the insurance agency, Morgan Insurance, in 1962. So when I got out of college, I said, okay, I'm going to give it a try. I said, I'm going to try it 6 months. Didn't think I was going to like it, and started in January of 82, and this is where I am 40 years later.
You are. That's awesome.
So you ended up liking it then?
I did.
I hope so.
It's good. It's good. Yeah.
That's awesome.
And I married Susan Scott. She's from here, so our roots are here in Lufkin. And my daughter Sarah works for the agency. She's been there about 3 years. And my son Scott, he's trying to figure out what he wants to do.
And where is Scott? Where is he these days?
He's working here in Lufkin.
Oh, he's back in Lufkin.
Yeah.
Okay.
He graduated, but he's figuring out, he doesn't know exactly what he wants to do yet.
We'll see if he sticks in for 40 years.
Right.
How about you, Ben?
I'm like Scott. I don't know what I want to do yet. So. Both our agencies have a long storied history. My grandfather started Bartlett Insurance Agency in 1932, which merged with Lufkin Insurance Agency, formed Bartlett, Baggett, and Shands in 1954. My father was a catalyst in the agency, and it was truly, I suppose, my destiny in some respects. I was like Terry. I grew up here in Lufkin and graduated from Lufkin High School, went off to school for a while, and came back here in December of '83, and that's where we've been since. But married my darling wife Holly in 1993, and we had two beautiful daughters. Neither one of them are in the insurance business. They're both school teachers, which I don't. That's a job I don't want, but
thank God for teachers.
For sure. So these two agencies have merged. Tell us about that. Tell us about that, how that came about, and kind of how all that works.
Well, from my perspective, Ben and I have been friends for years. We were in Boy Scouts together. In fact, we went to the same college, Fort Lewis College in Durango, Colorado. I'd already graduated when he went there. We've known each other, Boy Scouts, hunting, and all our lives. And I have been reaching out to him over the years saying, we ought to get together and merge. We'd talk off and on. Yeah, he said, he kind of blew me off. But I'll tell this story. He called me. It was in August before we started really talking. And he called me. He said, what are you doing? I said, oh, not much. Working. You know how it is. He said, well, let's get together. I said, okay. You want to get together next week? He said, no. What about tonight? I thought, oh, okay. So my wife got us some food to eat and beverages and everything, and we sat out there on my back porch, and we started talking, and Ben kind of told me what he had in mind, and in about 2 hours, we pretty much had everything worked out and put together.
Yeah. And of course, that our agency lived understaffed for it seems like an eternity. Staffing in the insurance industry is a pretty difficult thing to manage, and my partner Jeff Horn, who's a catalyst in our agency, he was wanting to step aside to some degree. Now he's still very active in the agency. He's a one heck of a producer, but he had was wanting to step aside, and I had toiled over it for a while, and I finally, I'm calling Terry. This is what we need to do, and create some economies of scale. And Terry's staff footprint was a good bit larger than mine. I think we brought eight warm bodies over, if I'm not mistaken. Right. But yeah, and I, like I say, Terry and I got together and we worked out the groundwork that night, and we had a consultant that we had both had history with that we respected, and we brought him into the mix, and 4 months later it was a done deal.
That's right. And the sign changed, and all of a sudden there was a picture of you with dark sunglasses on.
I've always been envious of that. I've got my cape
you get to
now,
be a
so
superhero
I'm
agent.
A super agent.
I love that. I love that. Well, I just think it says so much about your families and the two of you to be able to have this long friendship, and then to be able to merge the two companies and to make something that was already great even better and bigger. So how many people do y'all now have employed?
We have 33
wow. 30
people.
Yeah, 33.
And we're
33 total. We have 3 remote employees,
okay.
but 30 under roof. So.
Yeah, here. So, and we need to expand. I mean, we're looking for another 2 to 3.
Wow.
Yeah, HR continues to be a challenge. It was a challenge for me, and I mean, we were talking on the way over here. I mean, everybody's got the same challenges.
Yeah, it doesn't matter what industry you're in. Everybody needs employees
right.
across the board.
Yeah. So tell me about the merger process. I think that's really an interesting thing. How has everybody meshed together, and then how does it work for the two of you? So you said, Ben, you had a partner before previously. So, but until then, it was just you, right? Kind of leading everything, and then same for you.
Well, no, it was Bartlett, Baggett, and Shands historically had always been a partnership. And,
okay.
And at one point we had 7 partners in the agency, and as time went on, folks retired or passed away. It wound up Jeff Horn and I, we were 50-50 partners.
Okay.
And so that's.
So you've been used to having that kind of
absolutely
collaborative partnership.
Absolutely.
So when y'all merged together, how has that gone? That always fascinates me, because I'm in a place now where we'd spent a couple of years doing the whole solopreneur thing. Like it was just kind of all me, and then we had employees, but it was kind of everything rested on me. And then now we're a little more collaborative, working with different people, and the dynamic of that is interesting. How has that gone?
I'll have to say, we have never had one issue or one disagreement. I think we both decided to make this work. We're going to take the best of each agency and what they do, and we're going to combine them and do what is best. And we've had our this doesn't work, which is with any business, but we took the best, and we've got good people there, and we've made it work.
That's awesome.
And it's a lot of hard work. I mean, that process, I mean, going through due diligence on both sides of the fence, and just the process is labor intensive. But I mean, I would just, at the end of the day, I was amazed we were able to pull that off in 4 months. I mean, less than 4 months, actually.
Right. Yeah, that's fast.
And it's my employees had a pretty high anxiety level. I mean, they didn't know what to expect, But we folded them in as soon as we could before the actual merger took place. And I tell you, it was like hand in glove. They found a new home, and it is they've to the person I believe they really enjoy where they're at.
Culture is good.
The culture is good. I think Terry's crew likes to have more fun than I ever afforded my crew. And
it must be the sunglasses. I think
it must be something to do with that super agent stuff.
That's right.
To walk around in a cape. That has to be fun.
So we had to remodel the inside of our facility and have it done with new office systems, new carpet and everything. I mean, we were working at night getting everything done, but we pulled it off and we had it ready. And then over New Year's Day, Ben and Jeff and I, we were moving things in and getting people ready and setting up computers, and
that's awesome.
It worked well.
I think that's great. Now, do you both specialize, before you came together, were you specializing in the same type of insurance, or did you have a niche for one area versus another?
Well, and we're both generalists,
okay,
as the industry would call it. I mean, and we have some minor niches that we concentrate on, but we write personal lines and commercial lines, and one thing that Terry does a lot more of than we did is the benefit side of the fence, the commercial benefits.
Group health, Medicare supplements, life insurance. That's what falls into that.
Yeah. So y'all can take care of it all.
Mm-hmm.
Even weather insurance for festivals.
Yes. Even weather insurance for festivals.
That's great. You mentioned the economies of scale earlier. So since merging together, how's that helped? So how has that helped you guys with what you do and what you're able to offer?
Well, it just gives us, in our industry, more premium volume, more revenue.
Mm-hmm.
So we represented a lot of the same companies. So when you put that premium revenue together, it helps get us to a higher level with the various companies.
That's excellent.
We represent.
That's wonderful.
And then you have, a larger staff, which kind of helps if somebody's on vacation or if somebody leaves, it helps balance things out.
That's
on that end of it. They had a couple of people working remote, which was a big plus, and we had one, and they had the experience of working that way, which helped us utilize that.
Mm-hmm.
That's great. Yeah. What for people who, I think sometimes insurance can kind of be a little mystical to people, right? Not really know exactly how everything works, but for people who don't know, you talked about, offer some commercial lines and some personal lines and things like that. But what all do you offer for people who may be shopping for insurance right now, or they may be looking? What could they come to you for?
Well, I think we kind of have three lines of businesses. Mm-hmm. We have personal lines, which is your car, house insurance, ATV, boats. Then you have your commercial for a business, which includes property, general liability, workers' compensation, commercial auto, bonds, umbrellas. And then you have your what we call financial services, which is your group health, individual health, life insurance, and Medicare supplements. Awesome. And we also do annuities and a couple other things.
So for the most part, if it can be insured, you can do it.
We can pretty much do it. Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah, we can do it. And we're an independent agency, which that's an important distinction as opposed to a direct writer like State Farm, which is a great insurance company, not throwing rocks, but we've got a laundry list of insurance companies that we represent, and every company has their appetite, and some better than others, and we're able to shop multiple markets and find the best value for the customer.
That's great.
May not always be the cheapest, okay? But we're looking for the best value for their bang for their buck. Mm-hmm. And in a lot of respects, we're insurance counselors, okay? I mean, like you said, there's folks. Insurance is not necessarily fun to most folks, but we try to help them make sense of it and what it means, and and like again, pull that package together for them that gives them the best bang for their buck.
Recommendations and evaluate what they need.
It's great. Fantastic.
Well, we appreciate y'all coming on and sharing your story. I did not realize that y'all had been friends since you were kids, so I think that's great.
Troop 136, Beaver Patrol. Terry was the patrol leader, and I was his assistant patrol leader.
Nice.
That's awesome.
Both Eagle Scouts through 136. So
That's great.
We spent an extraordinary amount of time, maybe not in a tent together, but in the same campsite. But so
That's fantastic.
That's great. We appreciate y'all coming on and sharing all this. So where can people find you if they want to learn more about insurance? If they're in the market, they're shopping, where can they reach out and learn more?
3708 South Medford, just right down the street from the chamber here.
That's it.
Leave the chamber, head towards Target. You'll see them in between.
There you go. That's right.
Perfect.
and morganins.com or 936-634-7755.
Yep.
Or the old Bartlett Baggett Shands number, 632-4496. It all points right
It'll
back
get you there.
Right.
Awesome.
Well, thank y'all.
Thank y'all so much for your time. We appreciate you coming on. It was great learning about this process and about your business and how
Appreciate
everything's
y'all
coming
having
together.
us. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you for all y'all do.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for listening to the podcast again this week. We truly appreciate the support this podcast has received. If you'll do us a huge favor, if you'll share this podcast with someone who may be interested in it, that's a great way to help get the word out. We run into people all the time who didn't know about the podcast and who just found out and listened through the back catalog. So if you know somebody who's interested, send this out to them and let them know. And as always, thank you for listening to the podcast, and we'll see you again next week.